Good afternoon, Rick.
Hey, Megan, how's it
Hey,
going?
good. Who did that giraffe picture behind you? I always forget to ask this.
Oh, I think that was Kristen, I want to say.
Well, tell Kristen that she has missed her calling, and an artist. She should continue this walk that she's taking there. I love that giraffe. You got to get him
Yeah,
hung
thank
up on
you.
the wall.
That was some downtime with her. I think she was bored or something.
Oh my gosh, which I'm sure doesn't happen very much.
Oh
She's a
man,
busy
tell you.
bee.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's
so
good.
for today's topic, I wanted to talk about the cost of waiting. And I don't
Hmm.
want people to think that a 4% interest rate is a high interest rate or a 5% interest rate is a high interest rate. But what we have here and now is unbelievable and is
Hmm.
a hell of an opportunity. And
Hmm.
what I have seen in my time here doing this is that when interest rates go up in a short period of time, and I'm not saying that they are now, but I think it was in 2018 they went up about a point in 6 months or something, and that is like throwing a rock in a lake, the ripple
Hmm.
effect,
Hmm.
because of our mindset, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So because people, they don't necessarily look at the amount that they're going to spend on a house necessarily, but they look at the monthly cost of this house,
Hmm.
because they're not really going to live there for 30 years, most of them, but they want to be
Right.
comfortable and maintain a certain lifestyle and own a home. So
Hmm.
for you who I'm talking about, this, I'm talking to you. Okay, so
Right.
so what I wanted to demonstrate is, by the way, when the interest rate that in 2018 went up, that was like somebody threw a big rock in the lake, and all of a
Hmm.
sudden everything sort of came to a standstill, because people that were approved to spend 600,000, now they could only spend 500,000, and nobody
Hmm.
liked what they were even looking at 600,000, so they definitely didn't like it at 500,000.
Hmm.
And then sellers
True.
had to adjust a little bit, and the whole
Hmm.
thing. So this is what we have to watch, is the cost of owning a home. So I asked you to demonstrate, and I hope that this is going to work. I'm going to hook up my screen
Okay.
share again.
Hmm.
And we practiced here before we started because we're not technologically savvy, and I'm sorry this is not interactive or animated,
All right.
but here's what we wanted to do. So we have a client that we locked their rate in at 299. It's a
We
high
did.
balance loan at
Right.
$700,000. So they have their own money. The sales price isn't 700. The loan is 700,000.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so we're going to talk about what her payment is going to be today versus if she did this last year and the rates were at 3.99. So if you could just give
Right.
me um, the principal and interest.
Hmm.
I know you've got your
Yeah.
calculator there.
Yeah, by the way, I just want to add one thing to that, if you don't mind, too, on this, Megan. The important piece with our buyer, for example, is you don't need a big down payment these days. You
Mm-hmm.
don't. So that buyer we have, it's a 5% down. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a huge down payment. And with the rates this low, it's like a no-brainer almost. But here's the
No
payments.
kidding. Okay, I'm ready.
The monthly payment on 700,000 at 2.99%
Mm-hmm.
is $2,947.
$2,947. And is that that's like principal and interest, right?
Correct.
So like for taxes and
Taxes and
insurance,
your insurance.
I always calculate like 1.25%. So what do you think
Correct.
that would be?
Well,
700.
let's look at see here, roughly. I'll do it for you right now. Be about 760 in taxes.
Okay, plus 760. I'm sorry, I can't see my screen. That's why I keep
It's all
leading
right.
in.
You're good.
Okay, so 2947 plus 760 in
And then
taxes.
figure about $100 for homeowners insurance.
All right, so they're looking at like $3,800 a month all in. Plus 100.
Yep, that's right about that number. Correct. And actually,
Plus,
taxes, as we know, they're not. As a lender, we always calculate taxes at 1.25. That's a very safe number. But in
Mhm.
reality, it's more like 1.15. So
Right.
it's a much lower payment.
Yeah, we like to go a little bit more. We like to have a happy surprise at the end and not a sad surprise. Okay,
Exactly.
so I'm going to take this like one step even further,
Hmm.
and I'm going to say, okay, so let's say, because that person, 735 is the sales price times 5% in a year. So let's say she buys this house, she pays
Hmm.
$3,808 a month for
Hmm.
her all-in payment. She
Hmm.
gets a tax write-off. I'm not a tax professional. You have to talk to a
Hmm.
tax person. I believe
Hmm.
it's up to $10,000 a year you can write off in personal and property taxes, something like that.
Right.
I'm definitely not a CPA. So you get a tax write-off plus your interest. Plus, if it appreciates at, 5% a year, which is, pretty
Conservative.
conservative,
Hmm.
per year appreciation, then she's 3,600 and 750. Let's see, 36, 6, 7,
Oh,
50.
$35,000 a year appreciation first
She's
year.
the appreciation is 3,062 a month.
Hmm. Yeah,
Her
about
payment,
35,000 for 37,000 the first
yeah,
year.
her payment is 3,800 a month.
Hmm.
I mean, hello, this is what I'm trying to
Right,
demonstrate.
exactly. That's exactly the point. Don't forget, she made her down payment back in the first 12 months. So now she's
Exactly.
got about $70,000 in equity and the tax write-off, which is a different discussion, of course, but a buyer in that price range is going to save a ton of money every year in federal and state income taxes, a ton.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we know that prices have appreciated a little bit more than 5% this year. Okay, now let's do it at
Correct.
399. Let's
Hmm.
do it like it was last year, because last year
And it
it
was
was
this last year,
it
yep.
was yeah. Go for it. I'm
Not
ready.
even a year ago. Yep.
Calculate
Your
it.
payment on that same house at 3.99 is $3,338 a month.
3,300 a month. Okay, what's your taxes on that?
3,338. Same
Divided by
taxes and
12.
insurance. So add 860 for taxes and insurance, same
Uh-huh.
as
Oh, that's
last
right.
time.
Duh. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. That's okay. Do this all day long, Megan. It's okay.
yeah. So then the total 33
41.98.
41.98.
So
That's a
that's a difference in payment of $391.
exactly. And of course, we could still use a 5% rate of appreciation at
Right.
3.99, because that was still,
Right.
happening. So,
Right.
let me see.
So that same house, the same values, but with a higher interest rate, which is where the rates were a year ago, that payment would be almost $400 a month more, about 391 more. So that's a difference of 4,692 in 1 year. So
That's
it's almost a
amazing.
$5,000 difference in house payment. That's significant.
Sorry, this is making me really upset.
It's all right. You're good.
I'm trying to get rid of my misspelling here, and the damn thing won't. I just delete it. Boop. Okay. That's a pretty big difference. So now we know
Mhm.
why people are flocking, because, rents on something like this, it's not too far off from the total cost of this property every
Correct. It
every month.
is. That's correct.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so rents are really in line with what the payments are with this interest
Right.
rate, and that's why we see so many people flocking to the market.
Right. Right. So the first time in really my career, it was a long time.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've seen actual housing payments on a purchase to be about the same as rent with a very small down payment.
Yeah.
And what people don't know is they can borrow money from their 401k plans for that down payment. And they're not liquidating that account. They're actually borrowing money from themselves and then paying themselves back through payroll deductions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you
Mm-hmm.
can borrow from yourself for the down payment, get the tax benefit, get the future equity, and get these really, really great low rates.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love it. Well, and a lot of people are saying, because now we're getting close to the end of summer and the election's
Mm-hmm.
coming up, and they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
speculate what's going to happen when it's the election and this and that. And I mean, quite honestly, I haven't, you know, all of my years, I haven't really seen anything earth-shattering happen because of an election. Honestly, I see
Right.
interest rates, I see um, other things, stock market things definitely, but I think that the lesson today is kind of similar to the lesson last week, that if you find a house and it's affordable to you and you can see yourself being there through thick and thin for at least
Correct.
7 to
Correct.
10 years, you should hop on it, because this is historical. I don't think you're ever going to see interest rates this low again.
Yeah, you're totally right about that too, Megan. I'll say this as well, if you don't mind, because I deal with this every election cycle. And here's why I make this really clear. People have to know that what drives the market is not the day of the week, the time of year, or an election cycle. That does not drive the mortgage market or the interest rates, not at all. What drives that market is the economy. That's it. That's the economy. And so, as soon as we get to a place and time where there's an end to this COVID, where there's actual vaccine, right, you're going to start seeing rates move up a little bit. We're going to be through that recovery stage of that piece. So, these are not forever, and this will not last forever. And so it's not based on time of year. And so people think they can wait, and I can assure you there is an absolute cost to that waiting. Yes, they can wait, but it's going to cost them dearly if they can do it now. The message I know is clear to do it now, because the cost of waiting is going to be very expensive. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, that difference in the payment, I think we said was it $400 a month?
$391.
$391. And so really, I mean, people can buy this year, let's say for $700,000, a pretty nice place. And last year they can only afford about $600,000. So
correct.
They might get more where they want to be in the school district they want, that sort of thing. So, okay, well, I really appreciate your time. And let me ask you one last thing, because I get a lot of random messages from some past clients and such, and they send me things like solicitations they get in the mail, like interest rate 2.67, fixed for 30 years. I mean, what in the heck's going on there? Are those offers for real, or?
No, they're not real, unfortunately. You have a bunch of people out there in the business that buy lists. They just buy lists of people and they start mailing. You have to know that when they do that, they have to have enough teaser copy to get that phone to ring. And and rates change every day. Overnight they change. And so the idea of sending out a letter saying rates are, just plummeted, or they just dropped, rates or this or that letter was written probably a month ago. Right. So and they're just designed to make the phone ring. There's so many factors that go into how you price a loan. And I think it's really unfair to the consumer when these letters go out, because they're just misleading and they're unfair.
Right.
And you get somebody in a call center, somebody working out of their garage, and it just doesn't work out very well. I've seen too many things go wrong in those scenarios.
Yeah, people don't realize, like you said, what goes into pricing a loan. I mean, it's like the county you live in, your FICO scores, how much you have down, what your debt to income ratio is. I mean, it's not cut and dry. So
that's for sure.
If something sounds too good to be true, call us and we'll let you know if it is or not. Right?
That's exactly the answer.
All right. We're here for you, and we hope you have a great day. And geez, stay cool. I'm going to jump in the pool later tonight.
I know. Kidding, right?
Jeez. All right. Thanks, Rick. Have a good one.
Thanks, Megan. See ya.
Bye.